Good evening, YouTube. This is Tyler Metalhead Weatherman here. Hope you guys have had a great day and are having a good evening. You've had an excellent work week. Just gonna make a quick video today over the weekend ahead. Relatively quiet for most. There is a little bit of interesting activity towards the north, around the Mid-Atlantic and the Ohio Valley, and the Great Lakes region. Gonna go a little bit more in depth with that today. And then there's a little bit of a cold blast ahead right around towards the end of the weekend and starting into next week. Some interesting stuff that I will be going over in the video tomorrow in regards to what lies ahead in the long range. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Of course, before I really get further into this video, hopefully you guys like what I'm doing. Hopefully you guys like, comment, subscribe, share, and get the more urgent info so I can get this more urgent info out to the people that are at risk. That being said, we have this marginal risk here. Talked about it a bit yesterday, but based off the severe weather reports that I've looked at today, well, there really haven't been any, which is good. A few tornado reports in Ohio yesterday and one in South Georgia. A little bit more widespread wind reports and a little bit of hail, but nothing major going on yesterday, which is a great thing considering the week we had in Texas and Alabama and Louisiana especially. And as you can see here, tomorrow and Saturday, no thunderstorm area, period. Not even a general thunderstorm. It's going to be relatively quiet. So now we get into let's get into the temperatures and take a look at what we might have lying ahead in regards to snow. So I got two of these windows up. So we're going to look at the NAM 3 kilometer, not the sounding. Sounding's going to be relatively useless right now. But we're going to look at the reflectivity, the radar. So this will give you an idea of what the radar will look like. So get this into a loop mode. So we're going to look all the way through the weekend here. As you can see, this is our upper level low here that's been responsible. Well, our upper level low is kind of hanging around here, and this is what's been responsible for all the crazy weather we've had in the south. A little bit of snow here in the Four Corners area, panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma, into Kansas earlier this week, and then, of course, all the severe weather. So it's hanging around the northern tip of hanging around just north of the border, causing a little bit of snow just north of the border, and as we move forward, on the back side of this, we get some snow towards Lake Michigan, and then this moves further and further off to the east. And we have a little other low that forms up here, and just north of the New England area, and on the northern side of Maine, we're going to get some snow. So as we move further and further forward, we have another clipper system that's going to come in and bring even more snow for Twin Cities. Going to bring snow for probably Green Bay as well. It's going to bring snow for Green Bay. Then go into the Great Lakes, Detroit. You're in play for this as well. Snow looks like it's going to be relatively light. Like I said, this is going to be an Alberta clipper system, so usually with those kinds of systems, there's not a lot of moisture associated with it. So it's not going to be a major like walloping of snow unless you're near the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes machine might come on here. You might get a few snow bands that hang around for a while, and that's where you can get some pretty substantial totals. Now my computer doesn't work. Oh, jeez. I don't think I have too much up this time around. There we go. It's moving slow, but it is moving. So as we continue to push forward, we do get some little tiny bands of snow that work their way into the state of Ohio, and then the Ohio Valley. An area of interest that I've been seeing for a little bit higher snowfall totals is right around the foothills, the Appalachians, towards West Virginia in particular. Go into that a little bit further in a moment. Take a look at National Weather Service blend of models, give you an idea of what the conservative amount is. I don't think this is going to amount to anything major. This isn't going to cripple any cities or anything of that sort. Ah, jeez. This thing does not want to do what I need it to, does it? So there's where some of that snow is starting to pop up for West Virginia here. You see little showers starting to form up around the Ozarks, but most likely won't materialize into much of anything. Don't be alarmed. See right here, it's pretty much dissipated. Still have this snow hanging around on Sunday, on late Saturday night into early Sunday morning. And as we continue to roll forward, this is where we see that lake effect machine take effect in the interior New York and parts of Pennsylvania that are closest towards the Great Lakes. You guys are going to get a little bit more snow than everyone else, of course, and that's going to be the end of our model run going into Sunday. So let's take a look at the temperatures real quick. Trying to get my bearings right here. Hopefully the temperature map works a little bit better than the traditional reflectivity map here. Yeah, this is loaded much faster. So we're looking at the temps. Well, it's about an hour behind now. Starting to get a little outdated. This takes a little bit longer to update than the HRRR. But you can see our temps are starting to drop, and you can see where this cool down is really starting to take effect. Look at this cold air coming in from Canada and starting to slowly engulf the Dakotas. This is going to continue to push further and further south. So by the middle of the day, you would think that it's slowed its advance, but look at the temperatures. They're a little bit lower than what they've been around this area. Earlier into this week, we were getting 70s and 80s in some places around the south. Now we're starting to get highs into the 50s, and then lo and behold, come Friday night, watch the temperature. Watch how these temperatures are really starting to drop, and that cold air is making a big push. For a lot of you guys in the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic in particular, this is going to be some really brutal cold. Sometimes around the northern plains, you guys might end up having this cold lingering around about this time of year. But for you guys in the Ohio Valley, this is going to come to you as a bit of a shock. By the late morning and maybe even early afternoon, we still have some places around here in the mid-30s. Some of you guys aren't going to get above freezing, which is kind of crazy for this time of year. This is late March we're talking about. By this point, most of you guys aren't going to even have to worry about a hard freeze, but most of you guys wouldn't have to worry about a hard freeze. But lo and behold, that's not the case. We have this Arctic blast coming in. And then we watch this thing move further and further to the east, and then look at how cold it gets into Sunday morning. This cold air has pushed its way into the foothills of the Appalachians here. Some places sitting at in 20s, some places sitting around the teens even. It's kind of wild. Look around Iowa and St. Louis. You guys are going to be sitting right at freezing. And albeit this is a weak clipper system, if this thing were any stronger, we could have possibly gotten a bona fide snowstorm. But there's no real piece of upper level energy to kind of set that off. So that being said, it's not really much more to go over. So we're going to take a look ahead, and we're going to go all the way up towards Monday afternoon and get a look at our snow totals here. So right around here, right around the gray, we have about traced to maybe 1 inch of snow accumulation. And then right around the Great Lakes, of course, as I've been saying before, we're talking about areas where you could get maybe 1 to 3 inches. A lot of the same around most of the Great Lakes. There might be an area where you might get like 4, and then right around here, when you get past Michigan, just north of the border, we have areas of maybe 6, 7, even 8 inches of snow. But also draw your attention here towards the mountains in West Virginia, up in the higher elevations, 9 to maybe even 10 inches of snow isn't out the question for y'all. Off the Great Lakes, we still have areas where we could get 6, 7 inches of snow, and then right around the northernmost tip of Maine, we can still get about half a foot of snow, maybe even 8 inches in some spots. Mount Washington, your area of interest in particular. Then around the closer we get towards New York City and Long Island, Rhode Island, New England, not really much love for you guys. It's just that time of year where really snow stops being a big thing for everyone. It stops being I guess it stops being in the cards as far as the weather pattern is concerned. Not to say that it can't happen, but once we start getting on the warming trend, it's usually hard to keep getting snowstorms in the eastern half of the country in particular. But that's all I got for you guys. This has been Ty, your Metalhead Weatherman. Promise tomorrow we're gonna go over some more longer range stuff. But that's all I got, and hopefully you guys stay metal. Have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.